I want to talk about something that really gets me heated when people do this kind of crap. People that spill the beans about secrets that they swore to keep with some kind of business or other thing like wrestling, magic, people that were in the mob, things like that. And the reason why I get pissed off about this and why I call it an abomination is because this is what greedy men will do for a payday. This is what greedy men, they will spill the beans about anything just to get some money. And I'm going to give you examples here of what I mean. Vince McMahon, the Hawk, and these other guys that are washed up now and they're older, they spilled the beans about, Hulk Hogan was talking about Andre the Giant, and when they were in the ring and he's saying, Andre said, slam, like slam me. You do not tell people them kinds of things. You do not tell people the tricks of the trade. When you do that, it's dead. You've killed it. You've killed it off. And the other things, magic. You have people all for a payday. You have this guy that comes on this show with this black mask on, and he's showing you how to do all these magic tricks. He's ruining magic. There's no magic in magic anymore. It's not magic anymore. Everybody knows about it now. So that is, they've destroyed the mystery, the mystique. They destroyed it. These guys destroyed it. Like in these guys in the mob. You got all these guys now that got these podcasts. And look, I understand making a living off of something. But this is not how you make a living off of something. I think this is bullshit. Like these guys in the mob. They swore an oath not to talk about the family secrets. They swore not to do this. But yet, all these guys are coming out of the woodwork for a payday. And it just makes you sick. If this doesn't make you sick to your stomach, then you're somebody that just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to remark about it, but, I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. Even I watched some of the things with Sammy Gravano and the one guy that said he killed like 500 people or some shit. I'm not going to lie. I watched it too, but the thing that pisses me off is what these guys are doing for a payday and the things that they expose when they were supposed to keep it a secret. Now, I'm not saying for the mob, that's a bad secret to keep. You know what I'm saying? But like in wrestling, you don't do this. Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon and all these other guys, they ruined it. They ruined it. Now, I didn't hear The Undertaker talking about this. I didn't hear him exposing it as much, but other guys did. And it's like, just because you're washed up and you're old now and you're not going to be wrestling, why would you mess it up for the next generation? Like back then you didn't hear that. Like you didn't hear Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan and all these guys talking about the craft. They didn't let you know about it. It was a mystery. It was the mystique of it. And just like, what else was I talking about here? The wrestling, like with magic. Like magicians are, we already know what you're doing. So they ruined the craft for you. They've ruined, and it's just like with music today. People are ruining the craft by, and I'm sorry to say, I know I'm going to have a lot of y'all, you're going to be mad at what I'm saying, but listen, I don't even care anymore, because we are in a generation of copycats, of copy and paste artists, and all that people think about is sampling other people's music. You know, what happened from starting from the ground up? What happened with starting from scratch? You know, all of us, we just want the recipe right there in front of us. You know, we want all the ingredients right there. How about starting from complete scratch? Like, thinking this way, why don't we start with planting the seeds ourselves instead of having all the ingredients or having the recipe right there for us to do? You see, this is why the craft, the arts and crafts have been so watered down and destroyed, because you got people all for a payday willing to tell everybody how it's done or how it happened, and they gave you what gave it the mystique. It's what drew people in. It's what keeps people coming back. And they've exposed all of that. So there's no mystery no more. There's no mystique anymore. There's nothing there anymore. And it's just unbelievable how many people are destroying the what it means to be human too. Like, we all want to copy and emulate somebody, you know? And see, this is why I resonate with people like Charles Bukowski, George Carlin. He talked about this in a lot of his older videos. You know, he said there's no talent hiding anywhere. There's nobody that's going to pop out of the woodwork and whatever, because everybody thinks of the same shit. Everybody's on the same stuff. Everybody. And there was something that I wanted to say. There was something important that I wanted to get across. And of course, I can't remember, because when I'm outside here, I'm being distracted by things. But whatever, it slipped my mind now. But yeah, it's I don't want to make this video real long, but it's, you know, starting something from the ground up, starting something from scratch. You see, this is what nobody wants to do. Everybody just wants it right there. They don't want to do nothing for it. You know, and I wish I would have remembered the thing that I was talking about, because it was something that would have went with the video to explain what I mean here. But of course I forgot, so, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous what we will do to get money, and how we will water down something because, you know, we're either not doing it anymore, or, you know, whatever, and we ruin it for the next generation. That's what we do. We ruin these things for the next generation and stuff. So yeah, pretty boring video here right now. And see, I'm kind of stuck up on what I was gonna say, because I wanted to get that point across of what I meant. But unfortunately, you know, this mind, I can't remember shit sometimes. I have trouble remembering stuff, but whatever, it'll come to my mind. As soon as I get off of the video, it'll come to my mind. You know, that's how it always is. When you're trying to think of something, it doesn't work. That's why I tell us, don't try to think of things, because it's not human. You know, when you're trying to think of something, then you're kind of forcing the issue. And that's what I'm doing myself here, trying to think of something. So yeah, you always leave a little coal. That's what I wanted to say. This is something that I forget who said it, but Charles Bukowski said this. This is who said this. He said, you give 99%, but you always keep that little coal, that little piece of coal that's still on fire for yourself so that you can ignite again. You see what I'm saying? You always hold back a little bit for yourself, because one coal can start a huge fire. You know, one spark of inspiration can set this whole thing ablaze, metaphorically. Now, I'm not telling somebody to go burn something down. I'm just saying, metaphorically, one coal can, you know, do a lot of things. And that's what I'm saying here. Nobody wants to start with a little coal. Everybody just wants the fire right then and there. Everybody wants the wood, the gasoline, the lighter, a chair to sit there, a pot there with beans in the can. Nobody wants to go out and cut the wood. Nobody wants to go and build the chair. See, this is what we don't want to do. And even myself, I even feel kind of bad sitting here saying this, because I feel like a hypocrite, because I could have been doing so much more than what I'm doing now. I could have, you know, been focusing on this refuge thing that I talk about, planting my own seeds, building my own thing, doing my own thing, but I'm not in a position right this second to do that. But the thing is, I could just get in my car and go. I could do that. I could do that if I really wanted to. But what I mean here is the way that we do things, to me, is just, it's really, really stupid. It's like, look at how long it took for humans to think of a way not to amputate somebody's arm or leg, like in the wars, the Civil War. Look how long it took for us to do something like that, for us to not have to resort to that. You know, somebody getting gangrene in their leg or some shit. Look how long it took for us to think of this. It took us hundreds and hundreds of years to do this. It took us hundreds and hundreds of years to discover penicillin and all these things. And a lot of it happened by accident, but a lot of it happened because somebody thought. They thought different. They did different, you know? They thought of something different and they experimented with different, and then something different came that man never knew of. This is why the best people, the individual thinkers are the people that do what nobody else does. It's the people like me that are going to change people's minds. You know, I am going to change the world with the way I'm speaking, because nobody speaks about this stuff. And if I have to be the only guy to do it, then so be it. I don't care. It's like, I am, out of 8 billion people, there's only one of me. There's 8 billion people, but there's one of me. And that's for every one of us. There's 8 billion people, but there's only one of you and me. You know, let the herd do what the herd does. Let the blind be blind, because a lot of people just, they don't want to do anything about anything. And it's just like this. Greedy men will always be greedy. Greedy men will always be looking for more and more and more and more. They're not satisfied with the things they have that they need, that is all they need. See, they didn't have to say anything about anything. Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan and them, they didn't have to tell you that. But they did it on social media because they were getting paid for it. They were getting money for it. They were getting a handout for it. And these magicians that do this on these shows, this guy, the masked magician that comes on with his mask, and he's sitting there putting on a show for you and showing the tricks. He's getting paid to do that. He's getting paid to spill the beans about a secret that he was supposed to keep. And you just don't do this with certain things. That's why I say it's an abomination, because you don't do this with certain things. It's just like, listen, I know the mob is a very violent, corrupt organization, but when you promise not to tell secrets and you make an oath to something, you are not supposed to tell people what you promise to keep a secret. That's just how it is. That's just the way things are. You know, if I say that I'm not going to do something, I'm not going to do it. You know, now if it's something wrong, it's a little bit different if you're seeking forgiveness and you're seeking to release this tension, this horrible tension from you. But most of the time, it's not that. It wasn't that for the magic. It wasn't that for wrestling. You know, it wasn't that for a chef. Like, what chef gives away his secret ingredient? What chef gives you his secret recipe? It's only the ones that are looking for some big payday. Do you understand? It's only the greedy ones. It's only the corrupt men that are corrupted by the dollar bill, that are just about the dollar bill. And then they give it all up. Oh, you want to know my secret recipe? Well, you give me $250,000 and I'll give you everything you need to know. See, it's just greed. It's just greed on a huge scale. That's all it is. And greedy men will constantly seek out more and more, and they already have it. Like Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon and all these guys, they already have enough. They did not have to tell anybody about that wrestling is set up or fake. They didn't have to tell people that. This magic guy, he could have let people keep doing magic tricks and keep people interested in that. But, you know, he exposed it and he told everybody about it. Now there's nothing, there's no, well, how did they do that? You know, well, what did they do to do that? There's no mystique there anymore. There's no attraction anymore. They destroyed the attraction. They literally destroyed the attraction. So this is why you always have to keep your own little piece of coal. You can give 99% of you, but you got to keep a percentage to yourself. You have to keep 1% to yourself. This is what I would tell every person. Don't give 100% of yourself. If I ever said something like that, I was wrong. Don't ever give 100% of yourself to anybody, because when you do that, you're just, there's nothing there. There's no fascination. There's no build up, there's no wondering, there's no mystique, there's no nothing there. You see what I'm saying? And it's only the people that know that they are different or understand, you know, what it means to be corrupt, what it means to sell yourself out for $1. See, this is the kind of people that a lot of these people are running our world today. They are the people that we look up to on social media. They are the famous people. They are people that were in the spotlight at one time, and we idolized, we worshiped these idiots. And they're nothing but idiots. And that's the fact of the matter. They're idiots, they're greedy, they're corrupt, they're freaking led. They're led by the freaking ear. Like if you say, come here, come this way, and you grab their ear and you promise them money, and they'll do anything. They'll walk backwards. It's like Charles Manson said, you pay them and they'll walk backwards. And that's how it is. And another thing that I was talking about with the music and the art, we are in a generation of people don't make anything no more. They're just copying. They're emulating. They're sampling other people's music all the time. And look, I know there is a lot of people. There is a lot of people that sample music out here, and they'll all be mad at me, you know, like I'm the villain. But I'm actually giving you something that is something spectacular, something that you will never regret having. And it's an individual mindset. It's a start from complete scratch. It's start from the very bottom. Go to the root of what it is, you know, that you're going for. It don't start at the soil or at the branch, you know what I'm saying? Start at the root of it, you know, take the root out, you know, metaphorically, you know, get rid of everything that you've been conditioned with to think that you have to be. Get rid of that root and then start over, you know, start over. Get the fresh soil, get the seeds yourself. And what I mean is, with music, get your own drum machines, get your synthesizer workstation. Don't get a DAW and just copy and paste and use the freaking piano roll and all that. If you're really interested in the craft, if it's really about the arts with you, and it's really about creating and being your own thing, you will not do this. Like, don't get me wrong. I have FL Studio myself, but I would, when I'm on there, I'm using, if I'm ever on there, which I'm hardly on there anyway, but if I'm on there, I'm using the instruments, I'm using the drum kits, I'm making something myself. I'm not copying and pasting or sampling something. Like, everybody thinks of music this way. It's time to think of something different. It's time to get outside of the box of normality. It's time to stop thinking of, I have to sample music. I have to go and copy and paste loops and drum rhythms and all this shit. And there's so many YouTubers, you know, they'll just suck up to one another. They'll suck up. They're suck-ups. They're brown nose suck-ups. They'll just go to a channel because they're doing that also, and they're lazy and they don't want to do anything different. They just want to do a genre or what everybody else is doing. And they don't really do what they want to do. It's not their own thing. It's somebody else's. It sounds like somebody else's thing. It feels like something else. I can go on and on here. And listen, this is, yet again, this is only going to be for the few that are willing to understand that you are either a conformist and you're doing what everybody else is doing, and you just hop on the bandwagon and you want to do what everybody else is doing, or you're going to fit in your own place, like not a mold. I'm not talking about a mold. I'm talking about you are one of a kind. And that's what I am. I am one of a kind. I am 1 in 8 billion people. You see? But how many people think like this? How many people think of an outside the box mentality? There's only a very few people that will do this because they're not willing to lose it all. They're not willing to be different. They're not willing to say, well, everybody else is doing this, so I'm going to go this way. Everybody's taking the highway, so I'm going to take the back road. You know, every other buffalo is running off the cliff, so I'm not going to run off the cliff. I'm going to make a left turn, you see? I don't know anymore. I have reached critical mass here with life, art, like everything. I have reached critical mass. I just can't hack normality anymore. I cannot hack. I'm not talking about basic things. I'm talking about this whole way of conformity, this whole way of, I have to make a certain genre of music. I have to fit in a category. I have to make boom bap hip hop. I have to make dark trap. I have to make rock and roll. See, we're all trying to fit into a mold where we don't belong because it's not us. That's not us. That has already been done before. It's already been done. We're not doing nothing new. We're not thinking new. Therefore, nothing new is happening. It's the same old thing all the time. All the time. And I just got to this point where I don't care about being a friend to the world. I care about being honest with myself. I care about being myself. I don't care about fitting into some mold somewhere anymore. And, you know, if you're just going by the same old concepts, the same old views of everything, what everybody else does every day, then you're never going to stick out. You're never going to stand out in the art and music world. You're just going to be looked at as another type of musician that makes that kind of music. They're not going to say, well, damn, like, what are you doing that's so different? You see, if you don't think different, then you're not going to be different. If you think of all the same things that you thought of from the day before, then that is what you're going to do the next day. You know, if you're not thinking something different in our brains, then we're just going to keep going by the old concepts, the old ways, doing it how everybody else does it. And this is why humanity, it has took us so long to get to some of the points that we got to, because everybody is following one another. Everybody is going by the same things. There are only a very few innovators. There are only a very few people that have discovered things because they were thinking differently. And it would be almost an abomination myself. I could almost say that I'm an abomination if I wouldn't share this with people. If I wouldn't share this energy that I have been reluctant, that I have got lucky to have myself. If I would not share this with you, it would be an abomination itself. Because what I have discovered for myself, what I have learned for myself, there are not too many people that have gained this kind of knowledge for themselves, that have accepted certain things, that have took a brutal, honest look for themselves, that have called themselves out, that have looked into a lot of things. You know, there's not a lot of people that have done that, and that's just the way that it is. You know, I can't help that that's the way that it is, but that's the way that it is. And I'm not trying to be like anybody else, because I will never be like anybody else. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Are we just going to wake up, do the same thing we did yesterday? And look, I'm not saying there aren't some things that we're going to do the same thing every day. I take a walk out here because this is where I live. And I take a walk out here. But I'm not thinking the same way. I might be walking down the same road, yes. I might be living in the same house, yes. I might be sitting in the same chair, yes. I might be making music on the same gear. I might be writing on the same paper. I might be making videos on the same phone, but that doesn't mean that I can't think differently. See, why do you think that it took us so long to discover things in this world? Like I said, why do you think it took so long for us to discover penicillin, or to discover how the light bulb works, or if there was even a light bulb, if we could even have that? See, there was one in a world that did that. Actually, I think Thomas Edison took something from some other guy and made the light bulb. I'm not sure, but there was only one or two guys in the world at that time that thought of that, because they were thinking differently. Now, if that's only 2 people in the world, then what is that telling us? What is that telling us? Right there. And that's how I'm going to end the video. What is that telling us? 1 in 8 billion people. I'm out.